have mixed feelings about Milo Yiannopoulos. Many people do. But if you're on the left, you really hate him. Like, you've never hated anybody for some reason as much as Milo Yiannopoulos. And the effect is Milo Yiannopoulos can't even go to a bar without getting driven out by screaming people. It happened over the weekend. He went to a restaurant in Manhattan. But a crowd associated with the Democratic Socialists of America, most of whom seem like rich kids, gathered around him to chant, quote, "Nazi scum, get out." Watch.
Nazi scum, get out! 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 Nazi scum, get out!
I wonder how many of those Democratic Socialists have their own student loans. Probably none. That would be my guess. Anyway, they claim that the Nazi label is justified because some of Milo's supporters once made a Nazi salute, they say. Now, it's not clear that Milo saw them do it. Whatever. The mob included an editor at The Nation magazine called Annie Shields and also a Gizmodo writer named Brendan O'Connor. So we contacted O'Connor and his editor for a comment, asked him to come on the show tonight. They sent us this statement, which they repeated on the phone. Go F yourselves, because they're writers. Chadwick Moore is a New York journalist. He was with Milo at that bar, and he joins us tonight. So here's the amazing thing to me. This took place, am I getting any of this wrong? This was a restaurant called Churchill's, named after Winston Churchill. It's on Park Avenue in New York. It has $16 salmon appetizers, and this was the venue that the socialists chose to meet at, a restaurant named after Churchill on Park Avenue.
And you notice all of the nationalistic British flags hanging around. I believe they must have come for the craft beer, is what I decided. You know how the socialists love their $8 craft beers. That's the only thing I can come up with. Surely we thought this place would be safe. We made reservations. We just wanted a simple Sunday roast. We were looking forward to this. You know, he's British. He probably hasn't had a good roast in a very long time. And we encountered, and of all the gin joints in the world, we had to walk into the one where the socialists were meeting.
So they started screaming at you and calling you names, and what happened?
Well, we had stepped outside for a moment, and on our way back into our table, they were shouting. They would not let us go back to our table. We figured we left our bags at our table, so we were going to see if they calmed down. If they didn't, we were just going to get our bags and leave out of respect for the staff and the other customers. Other customers you can see in some of those videos were scared, and they were actually running out with their children. So when we tried to go back to our table, they gathered around him and would not let us go back to our table. And then a very large, I think it was a woman, it looked like a woman-ish, shoved Milo. And that is when we realized that this was going to get very violent. It was just the two of us. And we asked the staff if they would please retrieve our bags, and they did very politely. And Milo just said, "I was a very big Trump supporter in the last election, and that's what this was about." And the waitress was very confused and said, "Okay." Clearly, none of the staff or other patrons really knew what was going on or understood this reaction. We were just two guys trying to have some lunch, trying to have a roast.
Boy, those Vassar grads are dangerous when they get mad. Did you know that they were going to be, that it was the meeting of the Trustafarians was in progress when you chose this restaurant?
Absolutely not. I didn't even know they knew where Park Avenue was. Well, their parents do, certainly. But absolutely not. We made reservations several days in advance. We just wanted an English roast, and this place had come very highly recommended. That was the end of it. I see on Twitter because the optics of this are so terrible, and they know how awful they look, that I see on Twitter that they're trying to say that we had planned this. I see certified salon reporters with their blue check marks saying that Milo had brought his husband out, who everyone knows that Milo is married to a black guy. I don't know if they think I'm a Sean King or what, but so they keep trying to say we did this on purpose. No, we really wanted to have a peaceful lunch.
Here's one of the revolutionaries. This is Brendan O'Connor. He works at Gizmodo. This is the kid we wanted to have on tonight. I don't know if there he is right there. And he's obviously acting on behalf of the global proletariat. This is the kid who says he was a journalist, but who was there sort of on behalf of the socialists. We checked, needless to say, from one of the richest suburbs of New Jersey, went to some $50,000 a year boarding school, apparently. Was he one of the people screaming at you?
Yeah, he marched outside and tried to doorstep Milo. He shoved a recorder in in his face and started asking him questions about, 8-month-old news stories that involved him and other things that have been debunked. And Milo was just very polite and had said, "I'm here with my friend. If you want to interview me, please send an email to me and we'll set something up." He would not drop it. He didn't know what he was talking about. He was clearly nervous and fumbling and had no idea what to ask Milo. Finally, Milo just said, "Leave me alone. I'm here with my friend. Get your facts straight. I will gladly give you a proper interview." And then we have, of course, this Nation editor who admitted on Twitter she runs the Nation's Twitter handle. She has
Another worker.
Another worker.
So great.
Well, it's important to know, I don't have to tell you this, but they were all white, obviously. I don't have to tell you this.
Shields.
All 20 of them. Yes. So she has been going on a storm on Twitter, standing up for the working class and the people and all of those precious black people.
There was a time when socialists cared about economics and had an actual case to make. I don't agree with it, but I mean,
Right.
they had a kind of reasoned, thought-out case.
Yes.
That was fundamentally an economic case. And then little rich kids like this got involved, and it became all about race and gender, like everything is. Anyway, Chadwick, thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. We've invited